Hello and welcome to S24 Rundown. I am Gloria Atta and here's our news in brief. To start with, Justice Joyce Abdulmalik of the Federal High Court in Abuja has granted bail to the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, in the sum of 100 million naira with surety in like sum. The decision follows his arraignment by the Department of State Services, DSS, on a 5-count amended charge bordering on alleged wiretapping and breaches of national security, including the unlawful interception of phone communications belonging to National Security Advisor Nuhu Ribadu. The court attached exceptionally stringent conditions to the bail, ordering that the proposed surety must be a federal civil servant, not below grade level 17, residing in either the Maitama or Asokoro districts of Abuja. Furthermore, the surety must submit the original certificate of occupancy of a landed property alongside 3 months of salary history authenticated by a bank manager. To finalize the perfection of the bail, El-Rufai is required to surrender all valid international passports to the court registry, provide a letter of attestation from the chairman of the Kaduna Traditional Council, and report to the DSS headquarters at 10 a.m. on the last Friday of every month until the trial is concluded. And now to security. The United States Africa Command has released footage of the airstrikes against Islamic State militants carried out in the northeast following a highly coordinated joint military operation with the Nigerian Armed Forces. In a statement on its website this Monday, AFRICOM said the strikes were conducted on May 17 in coordination with the Nigerian government, with intelligence confirming that the targets were ISIS militants. The command said the operation would weaken the ISIS ability to plan attacks against the United States and its allies. Earlier, the defense headquarters said its strikes carried out in the general area of Metele resulted in the killing of more than 20 ISIS and ISWAP fighters following intelligence on the convergence of terrorist elements in the region. The latest operations follow the killing of ISIS kingpin al-Minuki during a previous joint Nigeria-US counter-terrorism operation confirmed by both President Bola Tinubu and US President Donald Trump. Now, the Federal Ministry of Health and Social Welfare has activated an immediate heightened nationwide surveillance network across all major entry points into the country. This proactive measure comes in direct response to the escalating health crisis in the Central African region, where fresh clusters of Ebola virus infections have sparked widespread international concern. Port health officials at international airports, seaports, and land borders have been equipped with advanced screening tools to monitor incoming travelers closely, aiming to identify and isolate any potential cases before they can spark a domestic outbreak. In addition to border containment, federal health agencies are working in lockstep with state epidemiologists to reinforce rapid response protocols and optimize isolation centers in high-risk commercial hubs. Public health authorities are issuing clinical guidelines to medical practitioners nationwide, emphasizing early symptom detection and strict adherence to infection prevention protocols. While no cases have been recorded within Nigeria, the government is treating the situation with extreme urgency to prevent cross-border transmission and protect the population from a secondary viral epidemic. Still talking health, the Lagos State Ministry of Health has sounded a critical public health alarm following a sharp nationwide spike in Lassa fever cases, which has recorded a concerning case fatality rate exceeding 25% this season, giving Lagos status as a densely populated commercial epicenter with massive daily human influxes. Commissioner for Health, Professor Akin Abayomi, stressed that the risk of rapid transmission remains high. Residents are strongly urged to elevate household hygiene, secure food storage to ward off disease-carrying rodents, and report persistent febrile illnesses to medical facilities immediately rather than resorting to self-medication simultaneously. State environmental and food safety monitors have issued a stern warning against the purchase and consumption of deteriorated fungus-infested tomatoes, locally referred to as ataisha. Health officials noted that due to economic pressures, some consumers and vendors are turning to these cheap, heavily contaminated ingredients which harbor dangerous mycotoxins capable of causing severe food poisoning and long-term organ damage. Market enforcement teams are being deployed across the state to confiscate compromised produce and educate traders on safe food handling practices. The World Health Organization, WHO, has officially designated the worsening Ebola outbreak in the Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, as a public health emergency of international concern, PHEIC. The emergency declaration was triggered by a sudden surge in localized transmission and the confirmed movement of the lethal virus across international borders into neighboring Uganda. International health experts expressed deep worries over substantial gaps in tackling the true scale of the epidemic, citing regional security challenges and logistical difficult terrains that have severely hampered frontline medical interventions and contact tracing efforts. By elevating the outbreak to a PHEIC, the WHO aims to mobilize immediate international funding, deploy specialized medical task forces, and accelerate the distribution of experimental vaccine to the affected areas. Global health leaders warned that without a swift, highly coordinated international response, the virus risks spreading further into border East and Central African transport corridors, threatening regional healthcare systems already strained by ecological and economic pressures. Emergency border protocols are now being recommended worldwide to prevent a wider pandemic. Moving on to business news with Hadiza Galadima. Hello, Hadiza.
Thank you, Gloria. Good afternoon and welcome to your daily business update. It's Monday, May 18th, 2026, and we are coming to you live with a comprehensive breakdown of the major economic, corporate, and financial stories shaping Nigeria and the African continent and also the global markets. From major industrial funding injections to shifting macroeconomics reality, here are your afternoon business brief. And to start with, the Bank of Industry has officially finalized plans to deploy a fresh $200 million sovereign guaranteed thematic financing facility secured from the African Development Bank. Dr. Olasupo Olusi, the managing director of BOI, confirmed that the capital injection will provide vital long-term financing to boost local manufacturing capacity, supporting small and medium enterprises, and fund critical infrastructure, agro-processing, and green industrialization projects across Nigeria. And now over to the currency flow. The Nigerian Naira started the week trading with a slight fluctuation, hovering around 1,371 Naira per dollar at the official Nigerian foreign exchange markets. In the parallel market, the currency exchanged at approximately 1,000 395 naira, that's for buying, and 1,405 naira to selling. Analysts note that while persistent demand from manufacturers and importers continue to exert pressure, sustained interventions and improved dollar liquidity from the Central Bank of Nigeria have successfully kept the official parallel market premium relatively narrow. And in a strategic move to protect public spend against severe economic pressures, the Federal Executive Council has approved stringent new guidelines through the Bureau of Public Procurement. Under the newly instituted policy, all government lines items involving contract variations, fluctuation claims, and project scope changes must now strictly secure a formal BPP certificate of no objection before any funds can be authorized. The framework is designed to eliminate artificially inflated procurement costs as price pressures continue to squeeze public and private budgets alike. Also moving on, data compiled by the National Bureau of Statistics revealed a challenging paradox for West African trade. While Nigeria's total trade export value surged significantly over the last year, the actual contribution of manufactured goods has stagnated at just under 3%. Industry experts argue that despite the open trade doors promised by the African Continental Free Trade, weak financing structures, high energy tariffs, and inadequate integration into continental supply chains. Following a turbulent period of geopolitical tension now affecting critical global oil transit routes like the Strait of Hormuz, global energy disruptions are heavily bleeding into domestic retail markets. In Nigeria, the impact has materialized via a reversal in what was steady disinflationary trade. The National Bureau of Statistics just reported a bump in headline inflation to 15.69%, driven directly by imported inflation, spike in haulage costs, and local fuel prices creeping past 1,300 naira per litre in various hubs. And finally, on the Nigerian exchange is reflecting a wave of profits taken as the week opens after hitting historic all-high highs earlier this quarter, where market capitalization comfortably breached the 160 trillion naira mark. The benchmark on the Nigerian exchange floor and all shares index ticked slightly lower by 0.1% as institutional investors and retail traders cash out on recent windfall gains. Despite the cautious slowdown, the Nigerian exchange remains one of the world standout performers of 2026, maintaining an impressive year-to-date rally of over 62%, while heavyweights in the industrial and banking sector saw highly active volumes. Trading turnover slowed down broadly across the floor as investors adopt a wait-and-see approach ahead of the central bank's upcoming Monetary Policy Committee meeting. And that concludes our first financial briefing of the day. Up next, we will dive deep into the front pages and opinions shaping the nation. Stay tuned, because right after the break, we will step into our newspaper review segment with Gloria and Abubakar. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back.
Welcome back from that break. Now on the newspaper review with Abubakar Turaki. Abubakar, how are you?
I'm fine, Gloria.
And how was your weekend?
Well, it was hectic because the ruling party have been conducting their own primaries and Nigerians have been filtering what they are sending to us.
That's very interesting. So let's just go quickly to the business of the day. And we're going to start from this day front page, and it says, Senate moves to fast-track state police after fresh Borno Oya schools abduction. Abubakar, school abductions have become, unfortunately, a normal in, the Nigerian system. Let me hear your thoughts.
You see, the school adoption have been occurring since when Goodluck Jonathan was in power. We have seen when Chibok girls were adopted recently, Dapchi girls, Kankara, and many places in part of Zamfara, Katsina, Yobe, Maiduguri, Niger, and many more places. And recently we have seen an attack where school students were also adopted in Borno State and some places of Kwara, Oyo, and rest. These are the kind of like the issue of insecurity in this country now is becoming uncontrollable. So, and there have been a clamoring from Nigerians, especially from the northern part of the country, to the creation of state police. Well, creation of state police is something that if we are to look at the policy itself, it's something that we should all welcome with good mind and positivity.
Okay.
But behind the scene, we are actually afraid. Nigerians are actually afraid. If people that were unable to at least manage some resources that are being allocated to them instead, especially in the payment of salaries, contract, pension, and gratuity to some people that serve the state and even left, are we really sure that if this issue of state police has been put in place, how sure are we that the state governors are not going to use the state police as a political tool in order to weaponize them and go against the opposition? This is our fear.
Okay, let's just even put politics aside and let's talk about the state police itself. Now, do you think that realistically that the state police can actually do better in terms of, you know, community policing and ensuring that we do not have a recurrence of these incidents at the state level?
Of course, if you create state police, they are going to enhance the security situation in that state. But the problem is you have federal police, you have state police. Is that not a duplication of work? And the truth of the matter, if you are saying that you have state police, then what differentiates between state police and some agencies like Karota in Kano, Barota in Bauchi, Gostik in Gombe, and Castelia in Kaduna State?
Okay, so does that mean that you're of the opinion that creating an additional police system is not necessarily the solution?
It is one of the solutions to the issue of insecurity in our dear country, Nigeria. But the truth of the matter is, why don't we enhance the national police that we have, equip them with the necessary tools, give them the technological training that they needed, deploy them, and let us use them in fight against insecurity in our dear country? But you are creating state police. APC primaries, House of Representatives, have just concluded, and we have seen most of the people that cleans the ticket, most of them are governors candidate. And now if you are saying, if you are trying to create state police, definitely there is not going to be election in any part of this country. Because the governors are going to be using the state police allegedly in order to snatch the ballot, intimidate opposition, lock people, and even sometimes adopt people for the benefit of election and for the benefit of politics.
Okay.
We are dealing with Nigerian governors, which many times they call themselves as powerful people. They are even saying that they are the one finalizing everything to be happen in this country. We have seen a situation whereby even the appointment of a minister in the republic, it has to pass through the governors. Appointment of even councillor, it has to pass through the governors. They are very powerful to the extent that it is only God that created them that can call them into order.
Okay, so does that mean that it is safe to say that the clamor for state police is more of a political agenda rather than curbing the issue in itself?
Well, I'm not a security expert per se, but rather I'm a concerned citizen.
Yes, you know, you talked about politicians. I know you've been dying to talk about politics.
Of course. To my humble opinion and based on what I understand, if at least we can at least equip the federal police, I think it will go a long way in reducing the issue of insecurity in this country.
So just to also talk about more security measures. Now, you know, what other measures do you think that the federal government should look into? Because you've already talked about strengthening other security agencies. So do you have any more, more short-term measures you think the federal government should be looking at in terms of this war against insecurity and now particularly mass abductions?
The truth of the matter is, if you are to be honest with ourselves, like poverty is the mother of all crime, and illiteracy too is the mother of all crime. Okay, in a society whereby the illiteracy level is almost more than 60%, how do you expect development in that society? People are always living, people are nowadays living in a barbaric situation. It has become a situation whereby it has now we have now reached a situation whereby people are trying to showcase jungle justice. The survival of the oh my God.
Of the fittest?
The survival of the fittest and the elimination of the weakest. You cannot travel within the four walls of this country freely. Whenever you're traveling, you're just panicking.
Yes.
So for us to have it right, we should find a way of reducing the level of illiteracy, unemployment, poverty to the barest minimal. If I'm educated, if you're educated, why would you take a weapon to come and at least hunt me or injure me? At least the level of illiteracy is high. That is the reason why many people are being brainwashed into into the issue of doctrine fight. We are human. I'm also human. If you face me, you see blood, and I will see blood. Then why are we fighting each other? There is no cause for the alarm.
Yes, indeed.
We should find a way of living harmoniously as brothers and sisters.
Yes. So indeed, we've said it countless times that there should be, they should look more inward. Yes, they should look more inward.
I think if I could remember, it was Nelson Mandela that said that you can find a way of destroying a community without sending an atomic bomb. Just deprive them the basic education. You will just destroy them.
Indeed, I quite agree. Well, we have to move to the second newspaper. We are going to be looking at the front page headline, which is the Daily Trust, and it says that APC reps primaries irregularities claim shock defeat for incumbents.
We have recently analyzed the issue of state police, and allegedly most of the irregularities that came, it was influenced by the powerful state governors. You see places in Gombe, Kwara, Kogi, Adamawa, Kaduna, and even Kano. These are some of the places that irregularities happen, and most of those people that emerge, most of them allegedly are candidates that are being anointed by the state governors.
Oh, I see.
And this is to tell you that the ruling party are so desperate to win this election, whether by virtue of free, fair, and credible election, or whether by virtue of manipulation, rigging, intimidation, and ballot snatching. And you are telling me we are practicing democracy? And this is to tell you, this is just the House of Representative primaries that was just concluded. Remember, the Senate.
Yeah, and that's even the next question.
The Senate are going to have their own.
To ask, yes.
The one that is going to be more intense, more politically driven is the state governors, because most of the governors are in their final lap. Most of them are going, and they want to bring somebody that can at least cover up to what they did allegedly. Just hold on. Next week, we will come here and analyze the kind of politicking that is going to happen, the kind of political pandemonium that Nigerians are going to experience. I think this 2027, if you are a Nigerian, put it at the back of your mind. Go out. If you see the environment or the atmosphere is volatile, come back to your house, lock yourself, and allow them to go and do whatever they wanted to do. Okay. Because this APC government, based on what we are seeing, I don't think if they will allow Nigerians to exercise their own franchise.
So what's, based on looking at what has played out at these primaries, you know, we have more coming, the Senate, the governorship, and also the presidential. So what are your expectations? My expectation,
if care is not taken, there's going to be a situation whereby you will just have them white. There's going to be uniformity. It's only APC that will still come back to and continue from where they stopped, because we have not seen the level of transparency in the conduct of that election. I have never seen a direct primary that held on yesterday, because I don't know if my mathematics is wrong, because I saw the kind of like a direct primary that was conducted. They started counting from 1, 2, they just went 70, 37, 130. Are we really in our senses? And it has happened across the northern part and the southern part. What are you telling us?
All right, so just finally, what lessons do you think that other political parties that are serious about, clinching a seat in the upcoming 2027
you will see
election?
Worse from the,
what do you think?
You will see worse from other political parties, because I told you every time, the ruling party is just like a mirror. We have analyzed here with Zainab. It was when the ruling party brought out, scheduled their own party primaries, their interest and nomination form. We just saw ADC did the same, NDC did the same, and other minor political parties. Since we have seen how the ruling party did their own, so definitely subsequently NDC, ADC, and or some other opposition party, you will see the way they are going to do their own. Maybe there will just be a time when people will just go out there trying to elect person that is going to represent him in the secondary election, while other people are inside their own room and within the comfort of their zone, they will just write it down and say this person have already emerged. And recently, before I enter, someone that declared yesterday he lost his ticket, and now they are saying that he is the one that is going. He's the one that won the ticket. What level of this thing are we heading to in this country?
So now that brings me to my final question, my very final question. When it comes to defections, do you think that we are going to be experiencing that wave of defections? Because remember, we talked about it on Friday. Of course, we already have some people who are aggrieved from what happened in this rep primary. So do you think there's going to be a wave of defections from the APC following
if you say defection, I think
out?
you are a little bit undermining the word of defection. Rather, we are going to have an atomic bomb defection.
Okay.
What I mean by atomic bomb defection is some people that an aspirant that felt aggrieved from the ruling party, he may likely defect to another political party, not with the intention of contesting, rather with the intention of coming back to fight the political party that deprived him from his own right. Because you should not underestimate the power of a politician in Nigeria. He's going to defect to another political party, come back and fight that party that deprived him. Because the irregularity is obvious. I'm just even happy that this time around, okay, I don't know, maybe it is in the secondary election, there is going to be a kind of like a vote buying. Because even yesterday, it was just a pure wickedness and pure miscalculation. I find it difficult. You started counting from 1, you jumped to 100. What is the meaning of that? And you even have the audacity videotaping that in you're sending it to the world?
Interesting times ahead for
That
Nigerian
is to say,
politics.
many people are saying that this is not an election, rather this is a pure coronation.
You know, as they say, we have normal mathematics and we have
And political mathematics.
It's been an interesting time with you. Thank you so much, Abubakar, for sharing your insights. And that's it on Newspaper Review today. Up next is S24 Report, coming to you after the break.
The Northern Film Summit, organized in collaboration with the Turkish Embassy, brought together filmmakers, actors, policymakers, and media professionals to discuss how cinema can bridge cultures and drive development. Northern Nigeria's film industry, Kannywood, remains one of Africa's largest indigenous film industries, producing hundreds of Hausa language films yearly and creating opportunities for thousands of young creatives across the region. The first panel session, themed Bridging Cultures Through Cinema, focused on how partnership between Northern Nigeria and Turkey can create global opportunities for young creatives and strengthen cultural exchange through storytelling. Senator Sani Shehu noted that collaboration like the summit can help project Nigerians' cultural influence globally while creating opportunities for emerging talent.
An outing like this, hosted by the National Northern Film Summit, will avail the opportunity of northern filmmakers and prospective northern filmmakers to interact with filmmakers from other parts of the country and see how ideas can be exchanged to enhance and improve our movie industry in northern part of Nigeria.
The founder of I Am Not also stressed the importance of telling authentic northern stories and preserving local narrative through film.
The cultural story of northern Nigeria is still being told through, for lack of better word, what Chimamanda will refer to as the tragedy of a single story. So until that story is told in its full essence, who a northerner is will remain a stereotype or a single story.
Meanwhile, The president of filmmakers called for greater creative freedom, saying censorship should not limit storytellers from reflecting reality as it is.
Our people are not creative enough to try to break the norms without actually relying on the way stories are told. If we have, fine, creativity has to do with breaking the norms, exploiting, and all that. Sometimes you create, it might not be in favor of what people are talking about, but the way the story is told, at the end of the day, you will quite understand where it came from.
Actors at the summit highlighted how international collaboration can improve storytelling, cultural representation, and create wider opportunities for performance on the global stage.
Okay, the advantage of collaboration is called intertwine of culture, intertwine of religion, employment advantage, and also exploitation. Okay, so collaboration helps you, just like, let me give an example with myself. The reason why they call me bridge builder between the Kannywood and Nollywood is because of power of collaboration. Most of the movie they shoot in the West, the reason why I am there as an actor is because they want viewership. They want numbers from northern Nigeria. So that is power of collaboration.
And finally, the last session highlighted cinema for peace, culture, and sustainable development, explored how film can support peace building, youth empowerment, and the sustainable development goals through creative collaboration. While stakeholders agreed that beyond entertainment, cinema remains a powerful tool for cultural diplomacy and social impact.
Good afternoon and welcome back from that break. This is Political Arena on S24 Television. I am your host, Abubakar Traki. This afternoon, we will be speaking about the Nigerian Democratic Congress, whereby it zoned its presidential ticket to the south, and big names like Peter Obi, Rabiu Konkoso may likely be the candidate that will emerge as the presidential flag bearer of the NDC. This afternoon, I am joined by a medical practitioner and a politician at the same time, who recently defected from the ruling party to the opposition party. Dr. Eberin, welcome to Political Arena on S24 Television.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here today.
It's a pleasure speaking to you.
Same here.
How is your new political party?
Very good, very good. Meeting up my expectations.
So what's the rationale behind zoning its own presidential ticket to the south?
So one of the founding principles and the principles of the NDC, it's equity and integrity. So equity because it's important to give all sections of this country
a
fair chance at leadership. So we know that the northern part has done their 8 years, the southern part has done 4 out of their 8 years, and that is why the NDC did not just zone it to the south, but we had to amend our constitution with a term. In fact, the term that was used was irrevocable one-term approach, one term for the president. So, and the president, the flag bearer, Mr. Peter Obi, has committed to running 1 term. In fact, he says, even though you put a gun.
Don't you know that this is just a political gimmick?
No.
That is not different. Because we have seen situations whereby Atiku Abubakar promised that.
So you're not going to compare a personality of Atiku Abubakar. It's like comparing, I don't know what, to this thing. Peter Obi has been someone that has been extremely consistent. In fact, he's one person that if the ruling party can send a combined team of DSS, NIA, and EFCC to track him down, but they've searched and they cannot find. So he's someone that has high level of integrity. In fact, for us that are coming to the NDC, we're even trying to learn from him in terms of being a man that is straightforward. And I think it's also important to know some of the factors that gives us confidence that he'll keep to his words, right?
You have been calling about Peter Obi.
Yeah, so one of the things is that if you look at his lifestyle, he's very simple. If you go to the airport, if you use the airport often, you'd have even run into him using the normal business class or the normal passenger airlines rather than driving. He's extremely rich. He can afford to drive a private jet. So when you see someone that is contented, right, and humble, it's highly unlikely that he's going to go against his word to run for one tenure, because what drives people to go for multiple tenure, it's most times in the context of Nigeria, greed. Although I must also balance the perspective, because sometimes
Nigerians are out there, they are watching, because Nigerians, to their own belief, is that what Peter Obi said is pure politics.
No, but I tell you that it's not pure politics, because I know that man is a man of integrity. He would rather not say it, but if he has said it, he will do it.
But you know, sometimes talking is easier than doing.
And then our party, the NDC, has also gone a step higher forward to amend the constitution to say that it's irrevocable. The word that they used, I was at a convention here in Abuja, and the word they used was irrevocable. So it means that you can't come tomorrow and change that one term for the South.
All right. What makes EDC different from other political parties?
Because we keep to our words. And I've seen it. I've not been there for too long, but so far so good. They keep to their words. And we also lined up behind a man of integrity, a man who has shown that he can do it in Anambra, who has shown between the time he was in Anambra till now, he has shown with his private resources in terms of the donations he has made to schools, to hospitals. He has shown that he's someone who puts his money where his mouth is. And we believe that when now given that mantle as the president of this country, is going to do it. That's the difference. One of our biggest sell in the NDC is our flag bearer, Mr. Peter Obi.
Let's a little bit personal.
Yes.
You wanted to be there. You wanted to represent your people.
Yes.
At the Green Chamber. What gave you that inspiration? Someone that started from the medical line. What inspired you to join politics? With the way politicians are painting people, with the way politicians are showing that politics is just a dirty game. What drives you toward that?
So I must say that when I thought about and this is not the first time I attended in 2019, but I couldn't get the ticket then. So what I'm someone that I don't like when things are not going right. And prior to this time, I used to complain a lot. In fact, when I was in University of Port Harcourt, I actually led a protest. So I had that, but I observed something, right? If you look at the history of civil rights activists in Nigeria, when they agitate, when they riot, when they protest, they make a little change, and for a time it fizzles out, right? But when you look at some leaders who have come up to make great change in their community, right? They really make big change that stands the test of time, unless when subsequent leadership over time refuses to build on that, right? We've seen some states where we had a governor who did really well and opened up the states, right? So I thought about it that instead of just being there complaining, reading protest, why don't I come in and seek for a public sector position and then make real change? And I started when I pleaded with the current minister so that I want to work with him. And he gave me opportunity. And while I was there, I was able to support him in developing policies around youth health, about youth development. And now I feel that I should then go back to my people who, in my own opinion, have been having poor representation here in at the National Assembly. The current person was literally absent, and then just few months ago, or even weeks ago, he now did what they call mother of all empowerment. And what was mother of all empowerment? If you have been there for the last 2 or 3 years, and you're supposed to bring quarterly empowerment to your people, I decided to be absent for the last 2 years, and then you take the last 2 quarters, put it together and do a show. And when I was following up with my people, they even told me that some of the items that they brought to the field and did the media razzmatazz At the end, they told them that, oh, the crowd is too much, that they will take it back. And later they will give them up. Till now, they've not.
That was a trick.
That was a trick. And this is not something I stand with. I'll keep to my word. Every quarter, I'll have an engagement with my people. And what is due them would come to them. That is a promise. And I'm making this promise here on air.
Well, your people are watching you.
Yes.
Okay, what stands you differently from other politicians? Because we have seen many situations whereby politicians promise heaven, but if they enter into power, they unleash hell.
I mean, as something I tell people to do in the build-up to this election is that, look at the history and the pedigree of those who are coming, who are putting themselves forward.
Scorecard.
Yes. Look at what I've done. My LinkedIn is there, right? You can check about my professional history, and then even my service. Over the last 16 months, I've served at the public sector, supporting the minister, right? Look at what I've been able to achieve, even with zero budget, right? Zero budget. And imagine when you elect me. And then beyond that, even before I started working with the minister, when in my public health role, I've supported policymakers in the National Assembly. In fact, one of the deputy chair of Committee on Health of the House of Reps, Honorable Mohammed Usman, is someone I supported so well. He's still my friend up till now. So I'm not even going there with a zero experience. I've had experience supporting a serving legislator in the Green Chamber, in the Health Committee. And I believe that with that experience I've garnered, I'm able to go there, make laws, carry out oversight, and then bring dividends of democracy to my people.
You mean you're fit for what you are buying for?
Yes, I am fit. I have the experience.
Okay. What policies do you have for women and youth in your constituency? So remember, they are watching you. Yeah, they are watching me, and I'm Agwaha Ikebe Ezioku. Now, my people in Bitoli Kedu Federal Constituency, right? I mean, what they want is greater opportunities, right? We need to find a way to attract more, to make laws that attract more industries, more public-private partnership, right? More, how do we revolutionalize the agricultural sector to make sure that there are opportunities for young people, make sure that the agri-allied industries are springing up in those communities, right? How do we make sure that we have legislation that curbs some of the unhealthy practices? Something that is common in my place right now is a lot of young people are into hard drugs. A lot of people are into gambling. Social vices. Social vices, right? There are rules you can put. There are laws you can put. I schooled in the UK. There are rules that kind of prevent some of the negative effects of gambling, that dissuades people from taking those drugs, right? And how do you even carry out oversight on those MDAs that should be doing this work to ensure that our people in local communities are not suffering? How do you even create opportunities for them, right? Access to health care, right? Education. And education should not just be about formal education. In the past, we used to have a lot of technical schools, right? Where are those technical schools? How can we revive them, right? What are those things that we can do to give people a sense of belonging? What Nigerians need in this country is not a lot. What is your final take to Nigerians who seems to lose hope in the political system in just 1 minute? Please don't give up. You don't even have any other option, because if you give up, it can get worse. If you think that you've suffered so much in the last 4 years, know that if you don't take part to make change in 2027, what you're going to get from 2027 upwards is suffering pro max. So the only option you have at this moment is use your power. Your power is your PVC. Make sure you have your PVC in a place that is close to where you can access during election day. On election day, against all odds, go out there and vote. Avoid any inducement, because no inducement is what the suffering the next 4 years. And at the end, vote your conscience, vote the right person, and ask politicians hard questions, because you don't want them to give you fake promises and you continue this suffering. Remember, thank you so much, Doctor. If you don't vote right, it's suffering promise in the next 4 years. Thank you so much, Doctor. It's a pleasure speaking to you here on S24 Political Arena. Thank you. It's so a pleasure being here too. And that is all what we have on S24 Political Arena. Stay tuned for our S24 Day commentary. Thank you and bye for now.
In a groundbreaking conservation effort, Africa has witnessed its largest ever cross-continental rhino translocation. 70 southern white rhinos have arrived in Rwanda after an extraordinary journey from South Africa. The endangered animals traveled more than 4,000 kilometers by road and air from South Africa's Moana Conservancy to their new home in Rwanda's Akagera National Park. The unprecedented operation required months of coordination between conservationists, veterinarians, pilots, and local communities determined to secure the future of the species.
The rhinos, these species are very endangered now. If we can get another place which is safe, to keep them safe, to increase, it's good to us, make us very proud, because our generation and generation will be happy to see these rhinos still alive.
Each rhino was carefully tranquilized, monitored by veterinary teams, and guided into specially designed steel crates before beginning the long journey north. The animals were trucked to Durban, craned into a Boeing 747 cargo aircraft, flown across the continent, and then driven across Rwanda's winding roads to Akagera's National Park. Conservationists say the relocation is helping rewrite Africa's conservation story, shifting focus from wildlife decline to restoration and recovery.
We were very proud. When we first had these things, we were very proud because we know from here, we do have the rhinos because they were coming from somewhere to be here, increasing the numbers, and we are enjoying. Our children, they were enjoying to come to see the rhinos here. So if we took them to another country, then we all say, oh, that's perfect.
The transfer also strengthened Rwanda's position as an emerging conservation hub while expanding Akagera's rhino population within one of Africa's most complete savanna ecosystems.
I can say thanks to my community for supporting this, and I can say thank you to Pinda also and African Parks. Thank you very much to support this, and also foundation helping to move these rhinos to another country. I also say thank you very much. I wish we can keep doing this.
The operation forms part of African Parks Rhino Rewild initiative, which aims to relocate more than 2,000 rhinos into safe protected habitats across the continent.
Hello and welcome to Tech World Update, where we discuss technology, innovation and digital space. I am Aisha Mohammed. Here's what's shaping ICT from Nigeria to the global stage. We begin in Nigeria's cyberspace. A Nigerian cyber activist group known as Anonymous Nigeria, alongside an affiliated network called NullSec Nigeria, has claimed responsibility for breaching South African government systems. The group says the action is linked to the alleged xenophobic attacks against Nigerians living in South Africa. Sample data reportedly taken from the South African Department of Correctional Services has already surfaced online, while the hackers threaten a larger public leak if the attacks continues. Cybersecurity experts say the development reflects the growing intersection between digital activism, geopolitics and cyber war. Nigeria Economic Transformation and Investment Partnership has unveiled a new creative fund aimed at supporting Nigeria's digital creative industry. The initiative is expected to provide filmmakers, musicians, and digital artists with advanced production tools, while also promoting the safe integration of artificial intelligence into the content creation. Industry analysts say the project could strengthen Nigeria's position as one of Africa's leading creative tech economies. And as Nigeria's tech ecosystem continues to expand, Chairman of the Senate Committee on ICT and Cybersecurity, Senator Shaibu Afolabi Salisu, says Nigeria's digital banking system is now among the most advanced and resilient globally.
The lawmaker credited the country's rapid fintech innovation and seamless multiple-channel transaction systems for the progress. Sorry about that. The statement comes amid continued growth in digital payments, mobile banking, and financial technology adoption across Nigeria. Still on fintech and digital transformation, organizers have finalized plans for Digital Pay Expo 2026, expected to bring together more than 3,000 fintech leaders, regulators, and technology experts across Africa. The conference scheduled for June at the Landmark Center in Lagos will focus on AI-powered payments, financial inclusion, and cross-border digital transactions. Experts say the event reflects Africa's growing influence in shaping the future of global digital finance, now beyond Africa and into the global cybersecurity operations. Interpol has confirmed the arrest of 201 suspected cybercriminals following a large-scale operation conducted among 13 countries in the Middle East and North Africa. The operation, code-named Operation Rams, targeted phishing network, malware syndicates, and online fraud operations believed to have affected thousands of victims. Security analysts say the crackdown demonstrates the increasing urgency of international cooperation against organized cybercrimes, and from cyber enforcement to green innovation. Global banking giant HSBC has launched a $4 billion sustainability and transition credit facility aimed at supporting clean tech and green innovation companies. The initiative is expected to provide easier financing for projects focused on renewable energy, climate technology, and sustainable industrial systems. Financial experts say investment in green technology is rapidly becoming one of the world's most competitive economic frontiers. And finally tonight, concerns continue to grow around the future of artificial intelligence. A coalition of AI engineers and technology workers has raised fresh concerns over the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence systems. In an opinion piece published by the New York Times, the group warned about immediate and long-term risks tied to the AI system they are helping to develop. The engineers are now calling for stronger safeguards, transparency measures, and whistleblowers protections within the major technology companies. The warning adds to the growing global debate surrounding AI regulations, ethics, and human oversight. And that's it on Tech World Updates, where innovation meets impact and the future stays in focus.
Hello and welcome back from the break. This is your entertainment update for today on S24 television, where the gist is always hot, the drama is louder, and the internet never sleeps. And trust me, today's stories show is one thing from Kannywood controversies to luxury akara. Entertainment never fails to surprise us. Stay with me to hear the full update. And starting with the Kano State Censorship Board has suspended two popular Kannywood actors, Adam Garba, also known as Rabagardama, and actress Amina Uba Hassan, from participating in movie activities in Kano State for 1 year. The board said the decision followed the circulation of controversial video that allegedly violated the moral and cultural values of the state. According to reports, one of the scenes showed inappropriate physical contact between the actors, a move the board says goes against Kannywood regulations. Officials also say the suspension is part of the effort to protect the image and discipline of the Hausa film industry following public criticism over the video. You know, it's actually funny how in Nigeria one video can actually end a career faster than Pawn Network during a transfer. But speaking of things Nigerians are struggling to understand, a film director, Martin, suggested artists can swap street akara for the akara leki, where premium options like crunchy pieces at 3,000 naira, for 4 or protein-packed seafood akara at 6,500 naira for 3 leads to a single platter, which is totally 22,000 naira without side. He defended it as healthier than dangerous roadside version, urging fans to save up for the treat. Nigerians fired back, joking that 22,000 naira could buy 100 of cheap street akara, 20 packs of spaghetti, or even a plot of land, amid soaring food inflation turning everyday staples into luxury. And now, from expensive food to expensive fashion. The 2026 Met Gala once again shut down the internet as celebrities arrive in dramatic and artistic outfits inspired by this year's theme, Fashion is Art. It was held at the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. The glamorous event featured appearances from global stars including Rihanna, Kim Kardashian, Cardi B, and Bad Bunny. While some fans praised the creativity and bold fashion statements, others questioned whether some outfits were truly fashion or simply attention-seeking costumes. And still, the Met Gala remains one of the world's biggest entertainment and fashion events, generating millions of conversation online. And honestly, some of those outfits look like they were designed during a power outage, but fashion people will still call it deep aesthetic expression. And finally, let's travel from Hollywood glamour to cultural history in South America. The most baller hat worn by indigenous women in Bolivia has become one of the country's strongest cultural symbols, originally created in Britain for men in the 19th century. The hats later made their way to Bolivia through railway workers and traders. And over time, indigenous women known as colistas adopted the styles and turned it into a symbol of pride, identity, and tradition. Today, the bowler hat remains an important part of Bolivian culture and is worn during festival, celebration, and public events. And that's all for today's entertainment updates, where fashion becomes controversy, akara becomes luxury, and social media turns everybody into a critic. Don't forget to stay with us for more trending stories, celebrity buzz, and everything making headlines around the world. I'm Khadija Muhammad, and I will see you in the next update. Coming up next is Sport News with Steven after the break.
Okay. Welcome back from that break. Football drama, major records, and Nigerian excellence on the international stage are dominating headlines today. From the Premier League to Spain, all the way to African athletics, here's your latest sports updates. We begin in England, where Manchester United secured third place in the Premier League after a thrilling 3-2 victory over Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford. It was another memorable night for captain Bruno Fernandes, who equaled the Premier League record of 20 assists in a single season. That achievement puts him alongside legends Thierry Henry and Kevin De Bruyne in the history books. Fernandes provided the assist for Brian Mabuemo's decisive goal in a match filled with excitement and controversy. VAR also came into focus after Forest protested a possible handball by Mabuemo in the build-up to one of United's goals, but the decision stood. The win confirms United return to UEFA Champions League football next season, while Nottingham Forest had already secured Premier League survival. Still in football, Chelsea officially announced former Bayern Leverkusen manager Xabi Alonso as their new head coach. Alonso, who guided Leverkusen to their first Bundesliga title in history, has signed a 4-year contract and will begin work in July. Speaking after the announcement, Alonso said Chelsea's ambition matches his own and promised to build a strong culture at Stamford Bridge. The Spaniard is widely regarded as one of Europe's brightest young managers, and Chelsea fans will be hoping he can return to winning ways after a difficult period. Over in Spain, Real Madrid claimed a narrow 1-0 win over Sevilla thanks to a goal from Vinicius Jr. The Brazilian finished brilliantly after being set up by Kylian Mbappe. Madrid created several chances to extend their lead, but the result still was not enough to hide what has been a disappointing season for Los Blancos, who are set to finish without a major trophy once again. Back home, attention is now turning to the 2027 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier. The Nigerian national football team will discover their opponents during the Tuesday draw in Cairo. The competition, tagged AFCON Pamoja 2027, will be jointly hosted by Kenya, Tanzania, and Uganda, marking the first time in history that 3 countries will co-host the tournaments. And finally, Team Nigeria delivered another impressive performance at the African Athletics Championship, finishing with a total of 12 medals, including 4 gold medals. World record holder Toby Amushon once again showed a class by winning gold in the women's 100-meter hurdles, while the women's 4x400-meter relay team also dominated to secure another gold medal for the country. Nigeria finished 4th overall behind Kenya, South Africa, and Ethiopia, underlining the country's growing strength in athletics on the African stage. And that's your sports updates, where records continues to be broken, football giants battles for glory, and Nigeria athletes keep making the nation proud on the world stage.
Good afternoon, Nigeria people. Welcome to a very brand new week, another week to give you updates where no they are outdated. First story today now about Federal High Court of Abuja. Under Justice Joyce Abdul-Malik, we don't grant the former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, bail way worth 100 million naira with one short C. This one they happen after the Department of State Services, DSS, carry and go court on top 5-count charge where they accuse them say a wiretap phone and he blocked the communication of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. They say that one a major security breach. The judge don't give them tight conditions for the bill to stand. They say he must bring one shorty and the shorty must be a federal civil servant from grade 17 and above. And they say he must live for Metama or Asokoro for Abuja. They can say the shorty must submit original certificate of occupancy, C of O, of property where they live inside, plus 3-month bank statement. They also can talk say El-Rufai must drop all the international passports with the court. Can they bring letter from the chairman of Kaduna Traditional Council and report to DSS headquarters by 10 a.m. on the last Friday of every month till the case finish. Another story in a U.S. Africa Command, where they call AFRICOM and Niger Army, we don't join hands together, do one heavy airstrike where they take scatter one Islamic State hideout for northeast Niger. The attack cleared the terrorists where they at their drone making place. They say no single soldier died for the operation. Soldiers come they happy say whether they use time and sense take plan for sometimes don't finally happen and a success it be. For health matter, the Federal Ministry of Health don't also tight security and screening for all Nigeria borders and airports. This one they happen because Ebola don't start to spread again for Central Africa. Even though Ebola never enter Nigeria, government won't stop and make it no cross border. And for Lagos State government don't want people say Lassa fever. They keep person sharp now. They can say as me and you they talk, so we get over 25% death rate on top Lassa fever. So make everybody clean their house, make they pursue rats, and they also want make people stop to they buy or chop those rotten cheap tomatoes where they call baje. Because if you hear the name self, they say you baje, you go no say you get poison, and that poison feed damage person liver and kidney. World Health Organization, where they call WHO, people where they take health matter, don't raise alarm say the Ebola outbreak for Democratic Republic of Congo